In April 2024, last month when writing this, my family took a 2-week trip to Japan. It was an amazing experience and one that none of us will be quick to forget. But it has been marred by grief, by loss. 2024 started with the excitement of the trip. Going across the world is amazing and a privilege with the state of the world at the moment. My parents had spent the majority of winter and autumn with my uncle, and had finally managed to return home. There was planning going on. Rain had to get time off work, and getting our savings converted to yen. Where will we stay? What would we do? And then Grandma got sick. The house went from 4 to 2. The previous excitement was replaced by worry. She wasn't eating, wasn't drinking. She had given up. I remember it hitting me one night after seeing a TikTok of a cat with dementia. I came downstairs and cried into Rain for an hour while saying about how unfair it all was for one to be without the other after so long. But then April came. The countdown was on, Japan in a matter of days. The plan was for us to go to London a day before the flight, so it would be easier in the morning. That didn't happen. It was the afternoon, and my mother's phone rang. They had only been down for 2 days at most after spending months away. Grandma had been sick. Her carers didn't know if she would last the night. Rain was at work, but thankfully got let off early. I started packing the case in a panic. I gave my mother hugs between quiet talks with my father. Rain got home early, checked my packing, and added a few bits. Just as we were getting into the car, Hopkins wandered in the house. I had to pick him up, and I think the panicked atmosphere scared him. We've made up now, but for so long I was worried about him. The firmness of his paw on my arm, his wide eyes and confused meows still felt so current even when we were on the plane. We drove through the night, booking a last-minute hotel on the way there. I don't think any of us slept well. We drove to London the following afternoon and boarded the plane the following day. We landed in Kansai Airport around 13 hours later. It was so warm compared to the UK. We checked into our hotel and then had a wander around a local park with jet lag kicking our asses. The whole world was spinning, the floor shifting beneath our feet. When we did get into our rooms, we had a nap. A very long nap. The best part of Osaka was going to the aquarium. It's called the Kaiyukan, and it's in a harbour village called the Temponzan. Temponzan? My pronunciation is gonna be. I'm sorry. The floor was still moving under us as it was our first full day, but we made the most of it. Being in such a beautiful place was an excellent distraction from all that was going on back home. In the Templezan village, there is this amazing cafe called Nine Board and Coffee. It has the best strawberry milk that I've ever had. It was the drink of the gods, an example of what strawberry milk should be. My favourite part of the aquarium was the seals. I love round, squishy animals, and seals are the epitome of that. We even saw one of them having an underwater nap. Next to the aquarium is a mall. The mall proved to be quite fun for us and bad for our purses. There was a cat themed shop with many little trinkets I had spotted on our way to the aquarium. I was thrilled by this place. I picked up a few bits, and Rain even got some clothes. Something I noticed about Japan is that they have a lot of trinket shops. It's crazy. There's so many shops just filled with clutter and trinkets and little bits. It's like they were made from my magpie coded brain. Osaka is close to a city called Kobe, of beef fame. Me and Rain went there on our own. We got there in one piece and made the walk to a cat cafe. It was a small cat cafe and very quiet. We arrived during nap time for the cats. They had two black cats there that looked like distant cousins of Vera and Hopkins. It made me miss them a lot. My favourite cat there was a little sandy coloured cat called Sarah, or Sarah, who had a little yellow flower around her neck. After petting cats, we went on a wander to Chinatown. It was beautiful there, but I spotted someone I wasn't expecting. Spider-Man. This was shocking to me. He seemed so out of place amongst the traditional and decorated buildings. We ventured to find some beef. I have a limited diet, many beige foods and chips and potatoey products. um, so I had never tried beef before. Kobe is famous for Wagyu beef, real Wagyu beef, the really good stuff. Rain loved it. She thoroughly enjoyed her beef bowl, while I struggled with chopsticks. My failure was noticed by the staff who came over with a fork for me. The beef was alright. I guess I'm just not a fan of it. Something we did that I would not recommend is going to Osaka Castle. Yes, it's beautiful. Yes, it's amazing. Yes, it looks good in a journal. But just admire it from the outside. I beg of you. Poor schmucks we are went inside. We lined up in the blazing sun for a good 20 minutes and then went inside. It's a museum. I did like some exhibits. But the thing that killed us was the stairs. No word of a lie, we felt the burn from those stairs well into our days in Tokyo. You might be saying, why not use the lift? Well, the lift only takes you to the very top, and it does not take you down. We walked all the way up to the very top from the bottom and saw the view. It's great, windy and lovely, which is what you need after being in a old building for a while. But those stairs, I felt that it was worse going up, and Rain felt it was worse going down. So don't don't. Ultimate leg day. Never again. I'd like to talk about an eatery we went to called Two Sam's Up. The guy who runs it is so nice, very friendly and engaging. If you are ever in Osaka, please go there. After we left, he sent me a message on Instagram thanking me for going, and he was so sweet. The food is also amazing. Both times we went, I had the chicken katsu curry, and honestly, it was the best I had on the whole trip. We took the Shinkansen to Tokyo, and then the normal train to Ueno. Tokyo is where things get emotionally complicated. We had just come back to the hotel after a day at Disney Sea. I got my shoes off and started organising the bits I got from the park. I started scrolling through my phone on the bed when my dad texted me. Grandma had passed away. It's difficult to explain the way that moment felt. I just replied with, "Oh," and stared at the wall. Only recently, as of writing this, have I cried about it. Loss is tough, unfair, and brutal. I just felt empty. I still do. Numb, almost. Mother knocked on our door and we hugged for a few minutes. I'm so glad she got a Disney day before finding out. I'm glad I got a Disney day too. It was fun. The days that followed are kind of a blur to me. We went to Ikebukuro, which was nice, but they didn't have a hot chocolate that I remember so vividly from my previous trip. That nearly put me over the edge. I can't lie about that. The day was a bit of a wash and ended with us going to a pop-up Sanrio cafe. I got a hot chocolate there and a Hello Kitty donut. All the donuts that we had in Japan were very cakey. They weren't at all like the Western ones, but they were still good. Rain got a dumpling which she said was not good. The problem with cute food is that it doesn't taste as good as it looks. I found that out the next day when we went to Harajuku. Harajuku is a place I'm sure you've heard of. It's famous for fashion and anime goods, and strange animal cafes, as I found out. But we, mainly me, had come on a search for Pom Pom Purin. He is this round little dog with a silly hat, and he's very special to me. There is a themed cafe for him in Harajuku, open all year round, and it was amazing. You pay for the atmosphere and the honour of being surrounded by Pom Pom Purin. I confidently got the kids' menu, and it looked adorable. It tasted edible. I wasn't thrilled by the taste, and we ended up getting something else after, but that cafe is one of the cutest places I have ever been. The day after that, I went to the zoo with my parents. Ueno Zoo is something that I will do a separate video on, but it was really great to spend time with my parents. The three of us had visited the zoo last time we were here, so it was nice seeing what it was like now. While we were in the zoo, Rain had gone on a solo trip to Shimokitazawa. She's a musician and a big fan of Bocce the Rock, so this was something that she really enjoyed. From her account, it was Bocce Madness, with characters even being featured in glasses adverts. Our final day in Japan might just be my favourite. I was sick, there was a bug going around, and I caught it. The day before, I had thrown up, and it seemed like my body was speedrunning the cold. We went to Nippori, a quiet town on the outskirts of Tokyo, and it was lovely. The place was cat obsessed, and I loved it. We tried chestnut ice cream to soothe my irritated throat, and then we went to play with some cats. The cat cafe had street cats and disabled cats, which was very nice. Me and Rain made friends with two cats in particular. She befriended a wobbly black and white cat, and I befriended a ginger and white cat that had a problem with its legs. When we got back to our hotel, I had a nap, and then it was time for the Last Supper. Being sick, I wanted something familiar. So we went to the pub. There is this line of British pubs in Japan called Hub. It is scarily accurate to a spoons, Weatherspoons for those uninitiated. And I loved it. After having dinner, we went to the arcade, and Rain did some rhythm games while I discovered gambling. Gambling is a big thing in Japan. There's buildings for it, gacha, and claw machines. The bottom floor of this place was claw machines. I was in awe of all of the cute things I could win, but I was on a plushie ban. In the end, I spotted what I wanted, a Miku figure. The goal is to get the claw in the green circle and pull the box over so it falls. We spent an hour or so at this machine. It was light when we went in and dark when we left. In my sickness and general stubbornness, I wasn't leaving there without her. By the end of it, there was a few people wandering around looking at us, waiting for us to give up and go home. I was sent away for the third time to get a coin refill, and when I came back, a member of staff was leaving. They had seen how close we were and moved the box slightly. Thank you. I went and used my 100 yen coin and won that Miku figure. We went back to the hotel, and hyped from the win, I wanted to go and crane game some more, but was told no by my adult. This was wise, as when we got back, I passed out pretty much immediately. The trip was amazing, something that I won't forget anytime soon. But those final days in Tokyo were rough. As of writing this, the funeral is next week. I don't know how to feel. I don't know how to process what I feel. I don't really know what to do with myself. I want to remember the trip for all the highs, but sadly, those are being beaten out by the lowest of lows that a person can experience. I'd wanted to work on this video a while ago, but it is now the 15th of May, and this time last month I was in Japan, and my grandma was alive. Grief is the perseverance of love, and that is something that I have been holding on to since we lost Elsa Cat. Hug your family today, and I'll see you next time.